Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to upload my yearly YouTube video. It's what it feels like lately. I've mustered up the motivation to come back on here and go through the process of filming and editing and doing all of that good stuff. I also thought about how I spent a hefty amount of money on that animation and I'd like to put it to good use. A lot of people have been asking me, Ishi, where are you? Come back, like I need you, like will you marry me, will you be my boyfriend, can I name my child after you? And I'm here to it's been really difficult for me, I think, to deal with my newfound YouTube fame. I think that I am really entering a new era, and it's time for me to take the next big step, which is getting my Brazilian butt lift. And that's a journey that I'm ready to embark on. But before we embark on that journey, let me introduce myself. My name is Ishi, and I am coming on here to talk about something that I love, which is fashion, high end fashion, luxury fashion. And today I'm going to be talking about my first ever, not my first ever luxury purchase. She's somewhere out there in the wilderness fending for herself. I lost her in Hawaii many years ago. My first ever purchase was actually a Gucci card holder. Like back in my back in oh my god, I can't it was back on my 21st birthday in Las Vegas. Oh my god, my eyebrows. Oh my god. Oh my god, girl, the arch. Those are on fleek. Oh my lord. You know what? That was the style back then. That was the style. This is my first ever bag. Okay, so my first ever purchase was actually a Gucci card holder. It was really cute. It was like black epi leather with like the little snake on it. And I got a good 5 months of use out of that before she wandered off out of my pocket into the streets somewhere. Yeah, that was very painful for me. Anyone who knows me knows that I love all of my luxury goods. Not because they're expensive, but because they're art pieces, and that took a lot of time for me to get over. But this was my second ever purchase, and I needed something that said, look at me. I like being loud. I like being known. I like people looking at my clothes and being like, what is that? So this was my first ever like big purchase, and it was a Fendi bag from the fall winter 2017 collection. Now, little story time. How did I get this bag? Why did I choose this bag? Okay, so basically, I knew that I was in the market for a bag, and I hadn't really like fully explored my passion for luxury fashion at this point. The only thing I had ever bought was that Gucci card holder. So it just kind of like, I knew deep down inside I wanted an expensive bag because I knew that I was going to use it every single day and I was going to use it for years. And so I was scrolling the internet looking at different brands at the time. I didn't really have a sense of like what I liked. I thought like, oh, I really like Gucci because I had the Gucci card holder. It made sense. Maybe I want a Gucci bag. The matching bag to that card holder at the time was going for about, I want to say $2,000 to $4,000. It was like a fully leather drawstring bag with the snake on it. Super beautiful, but my budget back then was not allowing me to buy a like $4,000 bag. So I had to skip on that. And scrolling again. I don't have a favorite brand. I don't know anything about luxury fashion. I had never really let myself experience these things because of obviously the gatekeeping that's done with the financial part of it. A wee little 18-year-old me, not coming from a very wealthy family. I didn't really get to just be like, hey, mom and dad, like, I want some Chanel for Christmas, you know? I had to really put it upon myself to be able to do those things. So, scrolling, I come across this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bag on Farfetch. And at the time, it was going for 1600, but because it was a past season, it was 50% off. And now Fendi doesn't really normally go on sale. They do have some like a very limited selection of like sale items, but it's usually the stuff that's like not very good. Thankfully for me, it seems that this bag was not selling. And so I snatched her up. I bought her. I brought her home. She had a little tag on it, and I didn't know for sure how I had really felt about this bag, right? So my first ever luxury purchase, $800 to me at the time, was like a lot, Okay, was working like minimum wage in San Francisco. I'm gonna guess like 40 to 50 hours of work to get this bag, which, considering I wasn't paying rent, and I think I was actually making $17 an hour because I think I was working at a store called Camper back then. I was working at a shoe store and I think I was making $17 an hour. So let's just say like about 40 hours of work to get this bag. I wasn't paying rent because I was living with my family. It wasn't like the worst purchase. It didn't like hinder me. Like, I wasn't crippled financially for like, the following year. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible purchase, but it was still a lot for me at the time. I had never, ever, ever bought anything that expensive. I think the most expensive thing that I had ever bought was a jacket from American Apparel, and that was maybe like $250. And so basically what I did was, there was a tag. Okay, bag reveal. This is my first time doing this, so I don't really know like the process of it, but I'm sure I've already thrown pictures up so you know what the bag looks like by now. But basically, here's her in person. Okay, she's beautiful. She's made of nylon and leather. She's made of nylon and leather. And so basically there was a little tag right here. It was a big white plastic tag that was like, do not remove if you want to return. And so what I did was, I probably have pictures of it, so I'll throw it up. But I had a little furoshiki, which is like a square cloth. It's like a square textile that's used to wrap things. And so what I did was I like wrapped it around this handle like a little bow. And that was like his hair. It's a boy, by the way. The bag is a boy. I think when I got him, I named him Aoi-chan. So, because he's blue. He was a beautiful electric blue. He's a little bit dull now. He's had a very long life. But yeah, I used to wrap a little bow around his little head and give him little hair. And it was really cute. But then I started to get a little bit self-conscious about wearing this bag that just said Fendi plastered across it in big, bold yellow letters. So then I started to kind of like hide the Fendi, like wrapped it around the two sides like a bandana, kind of give him like a mask. San Francisco is just a little bit different. In Taipei, I can like go out in like full head to toe designer, and people will look, but it's more like, oh, what is he wearing? As we're in San Francisco, it's like you can literally hear people. Like, I've heard people saying, like, oh, like, look at his bag, like, it's cute. And then his friend literally was like, oh, like, yeah, it's cute, but I just hate when people wear stuff like that because they just want to show how much money they have. And it's like, girl, like, enjoy the fashion. Like, you thought it was cute, like, let's stop it there, Like, who cares how much it costs? Like, is it your money? Like, if you think it's cute, it's cute. Like, I put it on for your eyes to look at and, like, admire. And, like, you admired it. But then, like, you took it away from yourself because you were like, no, I don't want to enjoy it because, like, that's expensive. And it's like, okay, like, let's just be happy. Let's just enjoy things in life. You know what I mean? But anyways, yes. So this bag, super cute. Basically, the collection was called the Vocabulary Collection, and it was like kind of like preschool schoolyard themed. So there were a lot of like if you look at the stitching, I'm just gonna do close-ups. If you look at the stitching, you can see that like the letters are a little bit uneven, as in like it's not like very sharp corners. Like you can, it looks like as if a child kind of like drew it. So that's the point, you know. It's like it's very playful. It's very like childlike, and that's really what drew me to it as well. The very vibrant blue that it was back in its day, and this little like the red trim. It's supposed to be like a chalkboard. So imagine like a chalkboard and like a child grabbing like a yellow piece of chalk and just writing Fendi. Very like imperfect, and I really like that about it because it's like it's art, but there's this sense of imperfection about it, and that just also really drew me to it. I love the stitching. I love how the red really like pops out. It's very like 3D, so it's a very 3D bag as well. I love the mix of materials. I love that it's very versatile, as in like you can hold it as a tote bag for like that kind of moment, but it's also a backpack because it has like these like drawstrings. But I also like that the drawstrings are very thick and nice, and they're not like just like literal strings. So yeah, there's a lot that I really love about this bag. There's a lot of really cute details to bring it like all together. Like this like silver hardware with like the blue leather trim. It's just, I really really love this bag. Now, I'm sure something that you've noticed is that the zipper is absolutely fucked. And that is because I used to hold all of my cash in this pocket, which I will. This is the pocket, but I'm not gonna open it up all the way because I literally cannot. It's just it's like fucked. It's literally fucked. I opened it and closed it so many times that this like seal over the zip started to break, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm at a point where I almost feel like I should just rip it all off, but like I can't. So he needs to be taken to get refurbished and repaired. He has lived a really long life, and he's really just been on hiatus. I feel a little bit weird about wearing a bag with this much wear and tear because it's like, girl, get it together and get it fixed. But this bag was my life for a really long time. Like I really love this bag, and I really wish that I had taken more care of it. When I first got this bag, I didn't want to baby it because I didn't want to feel like, oh my god, like I'm a slave to my luxury bag, you know? Like this is just a backpack to me. I'm just going to treat it like a backpack. But these things are fragile. They're made of very high quality materials that stain very easily. There's definitely like color transfer that has dulled the color a lot. There have been spills on this bag that have like also really dulled it a lot. And yeah, I would say the only thing about this bag is that it doesn't fit shit in it, and that's, I don't really know, like you could either need to stuff the bag to give it the right shape, but then it's like, okay, but like then how do I fit stuff in it because I've already stuffed it to maximum capacity? Or you can have it just lay flat on your back, but the moment you put anything in it, and I'm talking anything, like quarters and some dollar bills, like poof, it looks odd, it looks weird. That's my main complaint with this bag. It started to just become impossible to use. There is a little like ring on the side, which I guess is for charms and stuff. I never put charms on it, so that's something I'd be interested in buying. But first things first, she needs to get, or well, it's a boy, but he's okay being called she because like we don't really care in this household. But she needs to be refurbished. She's had a long life. Yeah, there was another bag actually that I was really interested in, and that bag was like a entirely Shearling, same idea, but it said blue on it instead of Fendi. And at the time, I was really gravitated towards that because Again, in San Francisco, the culture is it's just not very kind to people walking in like obviously designer items, and so I thought like blue would be a lot. Like nobody's gonna look at that and be like, oh my god, that's from Fendi's Fall Winter 2017 girl, you know, unless they're a big fan, in which case they won't care that it's designer. But that bag was really expensive. They still sell it, like surprisingly, all these years later. I mentioned it in like my first ever video, my like wish list video, and it's still on there. I still really want that bag because I think it would be a great bag for San Francisco because it's shearling. San Francisco's like always fucking hot. I mean, opposite of that. San Francisco's always really cold, so shearling would be like so nice to have. But also, it's very low key. Like people will just be like, "Oh, that's a cute bag. It's very fun. It's very playful." But it doesn't say Fendi across it like this one. So yeah, that's my first bag. I think I want to really like show people like, okay, like what does this bag really look like, you know, like in person. So I'm thinking like I'll probably put like a little clip up of like what would this bag look like if you were wearing it while like running from like a serial killer. Okay, so that's coming up like right now.
No. 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 It's come to my attention that I didn't film an outro video, so this is me saying bye. Bye.